Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Hindsight podcast. Great to have you here. And we're back for week 3 of the Premier League's return. Of course, we had 2 other major leagues kick off last week, so it's great to see Jose Mourinho's Roma get off to a nice win. And, of course, Inter Milan, Lukaku scoring a nice goal at the start of the season. Good to have him back in familiar territory. So that's all great and stuff. But I wanted to speak about Anthony Joshua's big fight this weekend, Saturday. Because I actually missed, watching Joshua fight. I think boxing in his heavyweight division, in his heavyweight form, has been maybe taking the backseat because of COVID and all that stuff. Location changes, all that stuff, or maybe just because Anthony hasn't quite been the main guy anymore. So there's a bit of lackadaisical, lukewarm following to it. But I'm looking forward to that the most this weekend amongst everything football. That's the match I'm looking forward to seeing. And I saw the press conference yesterday. Usyk in a nice traditional outfit. I'm not quite sure if you lot saw that, but who do you think is going to win? I honestly, my head tells me that Usyk will win, but I get the feeling that Joshua, the reason he's champion would show again once more.
Even Joshua looks so scared. I won't even lie to you.
What do you mean he looks scared?
What do you mean he looks scared?
How do you
like?
how
I've
do you explain
Are you a
that?
psychologist?
Number
Are you a
one,
psychologist that you
there was one interview. He was trying to say that he's been hearing that he's going to retire if he loses to this guy, that he will still continue to fight and all those things. And what I've seen, I saw the video.
Scared,
I saw the video yesterday, and I feel that he's not convinced enough that he's going to be that guy.
You mean he is not convinced?
Yes.
IBK, these things. When you go into a fight like that, it's more or less like putting your life at risk. Mm-hmm. If you are not convinced, it is.
No, what I mean is
not
not.
convinced,
Is
you don't
not.
fight.
What
Yeah,
I mean.
if you are not convinced-
that's not the word to you. What I mean is that it's not a fight that is a sure bet. There's what we call sure bets.
But then again, I don't think Anthony Joshua,
Kilo share now.
maybe apart from Andy Ruiz Jr., every other fighter Anthony Joshua, I've had. I don't think he goes into those fights with the mindset that this is a sure bet. I must win this.
Even with Andy Ruiz,
that's heavyweight.
even with Andy Ruiz, the issue was that there are not too many boxing fans on this side. We just love Anthony Joshua because he's Nigerian.
Definitely.
And what happens most of the time is that people don't really know some of these boxers until Joshua is fighting them. Aside from the big ones that people know. So when it was Joshua and the Ruiz, a lot of people seeing Andy Ruiz say, Joshua Mandela. It is heavyweight division. You can't. What's it be heavyweight division? Of
the weight
boxing
itself is very important.
So who do you think is going to win? I think Joshua wins. That's a patriotic call.
Yeah,
But I also feel like the reason he's been champion for that while, for that long, is going to show up once more. I think he's got one more final shot at it.
I think he's going to win because he's insinuated more or less that he's going to go back to how he fought when he was younger, when he was just contesting for those belts, because he's gone 2 fights now where he's gone against his natural instinct. He wanted to box against a boxer and he lost. Okay. So now I think because the last fight he didn't make his what's it called now? His physical presence. He wasn't dominant in how the strategy. So I think that's what he's going to do now. If he does that, I very much think he will win.
Well, I don't think Joshua will beat Usyk, and most boxing fans in Nigeria feel that after losing the first game against Andy Ruiz Jr., he came back, he won. So they are expecting the same thing this time around. But when you're fighting against a Ukrainian, a Russian, you know what you should expect.
But he's beaten one before.
Now. What was the problem with that?
Because when you say that,
40 something year old.
What's going on?
He defeated Klitschko when they were not. I mean, when Klitschko fought, what was that other guy's name? Samuel Peter. I mean, Joshua can't fight Klitschko, any of the Klitschko brothers around that time.
But what you just said is fallacy. It's a big one.
Okay.
Because Joshua Klitschko, the same Klitschko, fought Fury a year or 2 before Joshua fought Klitschko, and for some reason, Fury's win against Klitschko makes more meaning or means more than Joshua's win against Klitschko, which doesn't make any sense because
mine is
Fury fought the same Klitschko a year or so before. And mind you, Joshua was supposed to fight Klitschko immediately after Fury fought Klitschko, but there was supposed to be a rematch. That was why Joshua didn't fight him.
Is revisionist. When people speak about say it was an old Klitschko.
But that's
don't worry.
People
nonsense.
We will not believe.
Klitschko beat Joshua in that. It was pure grit.
Not well, but the fight that went to 11 or how many rounds?
My own is that Joshua is not.
It was endurance.
Klitschko could have knocked him out, but he ended up knocking Klitschko out.
Joshua is not beating this guy.
There's no way Joshua.
You guys want to bet?
There's no way Joshua.
You guys want to bet?
You want to bet?
I can guarantee you.
You can guarantee to bet.
You want to bet?
Unless if there's something.
What is all? Oh God!
No. If I say something, I don't look for unless. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
You said it the first time that Usyk will win, Abi.
I said Usyk will win.
Right.
Follow them.
Do you want to bet on it?
I don't want to bet on it.
Me, I know.
I can tell you two boxers that Joshua
bet,
cannot beat.
Don't speak about
Usyk and Tyson Fury.
Okay. If you don't want to bet, don't speak about
Yeah,
it.
Tyson Fury don't retire now. You don't tell you.
So that's it,
If
right?
the money is right, he's going to come
Right.
back. Yeah.
You have to put your money where your mouth is.
The money is
not where your mouth is. I can't take it.
That's another thing that people who supposedly follow boxing do not know. The money might be right, and he said he won't fight because Fury and Joshua should have fought. The money was right, but Fury didn't.
You know,
No, Deontay Wilder had a clause for a rematch.
Yes, no,
Before the Deontay Wilder fight. Before the Deontay Wilder
I
fight.
think that Wilder fight messed everything up.
It's the same thing with Fury.
but you don't follow the story now.
No, they had a
I followed
contract.
that one.
They had a contract for 3 fights.
I follow him.
The first
Listen.
one ended in a draw.
Listen.
Second one, Fury won.
There was
The
a
third
listen,
one.
let me give you a background to the story, right? There was Fury
talked about this before.
Fury kept making it sound like AJ didn't want to fight.
And that's wrong.
But AJ,
the same thing Wilder did.
No, but AJ actually said, you know what? Let's fix the fight. When the fight was agreed, it was now revealed that Fury had a rematch in his contract with Wilder. And Wilder, and AJ said, look, I'm not privy to your contract.
You know your contract.
If
now,
you
so
knew you had a
why are you
rematch,
coming to
why are
the
you
table
coming to the table with
now,
us
as a matter
for a
of
conversation?
fact,
So AJ never ran away from Fury.
To put all this
I'm not saying AJ ran away from
To put all
Fury.
this thing to bed, it's simple. When you remember between Fury and Wilder, after the first fight, Fury made a statement. Fury said something that I was the one that gave you a fight, even though there was more money on the table to go and fight Joshua. But I fought you. And then people said, bro, but you said Joshua was running away from you.
Yeah.
So these guys will come out and lie to you
Of
if you
course.
don't follow the story.
Of course.
What the story is, the same thing with Wilder. Joshua gave Wilder his biggest pay as a professional boxer ever in his career. But he didn't fight. But came out and said, you don't want to fight. But that's all part of the show. As far as they're all concerned, Joshua has been the only one that has been ready to fight anybody since he became professional.
It's not the same thing as he will beat them, but he's ready to fight.
He's ready to fight them. He's not saying he will beat them, but he's always been ready to fight them.
Always ready to fight.
Saturday.
Put your money where your mouth is, bro. If you can't, forget it. I see you doing giveaways on Twitter.
I'll bet for bet company, and I know I'll chop well with that.
You know,
Good luck to you, my guy.
You don't bet any bets. Don't worry.
This one,
You don't bet shit.
dying amount they make.
Noise everywhere.
The one who that drop me, where I go lose for group.
He consigned Shebi, I owe your truth. I put gun for your head.
Noise.
Banga for 1 year now.
You know,
Banga. That's how they drop my money.
no,
I don't play again.
it is very responsible because
It is a Arsenal to score 2. Banga.
last year I put
Banga they blow for him face.
I put 20k. 20k on what game was that? What was that game? That championship game. Bro.
Now this guy come back here.
Talking about Banga.
I was in it. I say it's all well. He say everything's good to plan. Bro, also 20k. Oh man.
I knew.
I went out with a couple of guys last week, and in the morning it was last week actually. I was on Twitter. I saw something. Somebody said, last night was fun. So Homer replied and said, "Night was fun when you're not the one." Don't be the David now. Don't be the David now. Now why you say that was fun?
No, but there are levels to this thing now. The bit David you made last night.
Last night was fun.
You get one time me and some guys we go velvet for for China VI.
Why you the promote club for this show? I beg.
No, I just waiting. Don't mean anything now.
Continue.
You mean?
So, Baba, does all of guys don't agree. So, almost say, yeah, we go contribute to any bill we do. We go contribute to.
It's called Dutch.
So, by the time we will come, everybody don't do okay. We can't they go. One of them, as they bring bill, come. One of us being the change man.
I never. Where did I agree to splitting this bill?
I drop.
I've seen some.
It's not easy, bro. You enjoy person. They debit person.
No, man.
They say you had a great weekend. Which weekend?
No, I don't know, man. It's become a cultural thing. This Friday night.
My biggest worry these days. Not my biggest worry. I don't worry about it much. My biggest surprise is the steady demand on fellas to keep shelling the way they normally shell when things are still happening. I'm like, it's almost as if a lot of babes don't realize that the economy is not good.
No, but there's not really.
I can't. No.
I can't put the blame on babes. I mean, if you don't know what you're doing as a guy, it concerns you. If the money is not coming in as it used to, and you feel you still want to go to the club and buy 100,000 naira bottles, and mind you, these days you have to understand when things are not going well, people tend to drink more. So 100,000 naira bottle.
That's true. Yeah.
100,000 naira bottle will be safe for Drew now before. You understand? Now everybody can't forget their sorrow. They want the rich level where they want dance or whatever they want to do. So now you don't put 100k bottle for table. How many minutes? You don't see the bottle, you don't finish. How many will be for here? So yeah. So when they bring out, so if the babes, I don't think the babes they put gun for anybody here to go club. So
it's all good. I wanted to speak about Man United, but I figured that we have done too much content on Man United.
There's never too much content on anybody.
Shouts to Sir Jim Ratcliffe, a good man. A good man that is riding to the rescue. Please, sir, ride on and ride fast. Apply pressure and come in time. You are
needed.
Now minority they say they won't be now minority.
It's a lifelong strategy.
Now from there
you first get your foot in the door first. You get and from there things go forward, right?
But I think the problem is not with the owners anymore. Yeah. I think the problem is with the fact that there should be a football administrator in that club.
Who's supposed to
apply? I don't understand. You get business.
Bro, they have hierarchies. You don't have to talk to the owners, bro. What the owners practically do is they employ guys. Oh, how far I get club
Stop
where I
there.
want to run. Wait. Oh, how far I get club where I want to run. Wait, chill. How far I get club where I want to run. I'm a very busy person. Just tell me whatever you need and let the club keep doing well. So I don't think that the owners directly have problem with what is happening on the field. That's the truth. They have people
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So you have a jersey business.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So because you have other things that you're doing, for example, with this same thing that you said.
Can you mute that phone, please?
Because you have is on mute. Because you have so many other things that you do. And you now appoint a manager, or if it's an online, you appoint whatever, and the person completely runs down the business, right? Who takes responsibility for running the business?
Like I said, is it wait first now. Now two things now. You be like waiting to do us now that time. Be like say that English where they talk, you don't understand that. Now, the owner of the club.
I swear I don't go.
Wait, the owner of the club waiting consign now. Now the revenue of the club. How much they pop in? That's the truth. So where do you
get such?
Wait first now. Wait first. So what do you now do is like the Glazers, and they don't look like people that really know much about football. They have. I'm sure the Glazers are not the one that is in charge of football administration. Yes, of the club. So it is the responsibility of those that are there. Guy, they pay you for this thing.
IBK, I asked you a simple question.
Coming back to the owner.
I asked you a simple question. Your business, you appoint someone to run it. The person completely runs down the business. Who's at fault for running down the business?
Like I said, Man United is not.
Now, question.
It's not a business that is running down now.
Abigail, I'm
sorry.
sorry.
That one is
answer the
different
question
now.
where I ask you first. Answer. First answer first.
I got the sense that today's episode might be an episode that might drain me. So
Just answer my question.
I figured I put some measures in place to help myself.
Which measure?
One of which is I have an obedience
breathe
thing
out.
here.
Answer the question. Now, just answer my question.
If you cannot understand how a fish rots from the head, which is a popular line which the United Supporters Trust put out this week, there's something called direction, right? When you buy a football club, right? It's a football club for a reason, which means that no matter what happens in the end, the business has to tie directly back down to results. If you hire someone to be in charge of it because you are too busy, and the person has messed it up for a decade, and you left them in charge for 9 of 10 years, in that mess, who is to blame for that?
Answer the question.
Now,
IBK, just answer the question.
No explanation.
Explain.
No
Just
explanation.
answer. Who is
Just
to
answer the
blame?
question.
Who is to blame for that?
Who is to blame?
like I said, I did not say. Wait, I did not start with. You won't blame the owners. I said that the owners don't have.
You said they don't have blame any. No. The first thing you said was you
said
think the owners don't have any fault now.
You said the owner no
Now,
That's what you
yes,
said.
as at the on-field issue now. Yes, you are right, because when things are not going well, you go back to if na sports administrator, if na Alex Ferguson, bro, what's happening now?
Who is your bro?
This club no, they do well. Waiting they happen, they pay you, they give you all the resources. So it is their own responsibility to find a solution to what is happening. But the sad thing is that even the owners of this club, like I told you, they don't even know much about football.
But
they know about business.
Let's move on. One of the comments I saw, I found a bit juvenile when Lewandowski was, and this thing that players do have an air of arrogance about them. I saw the game against Rayo, and I thought that Rayo should have scored a couple of goals very early.
Like 2.
Should have scored 2. And that guy, there was a guy that went 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper.
He was supposed to pass.
But Lewandowski goes out and makes a comment and says, this is anti-football. The players were in the box and that kind of thing. And I just thought about it like, what goes through a player's mind to get to that level of ignorance about how to win football games. And it just got to me that Lewandowski is one of those players who don't understand anything about the entirety of the game.
Yeah, you can imagine what kind of manager
you can imagine what kind of manager would be.
Kind of mindset.
Because if you go and say, the players were in the box for 90 minutes, XYZ.
So that's anti-football. What is anti-football?
What do you expect them to do? Come out and allow you to
score 5 goals, 6 goals.
Sometimes I wonder, like, dude, these guys. But sometimes I now go back to the fact that look, and I'm not trying to shade anybody, but what it is what it is. A lot of these players some of them started playing on the street. A lot of these players are actually not knowledgeable about the game. Yeah. They can play, put them on the field. My job is to score goals. He's got the physical attributes. His mind and his senses, his reflexes, everything can allow him play the game, but he really doesn't understand how the game comes together or the concept of somebody setting out the game plan. A lot of them don't. Because you are playing against Rayo Vallecano and you are Barcelona, that you've assembled this area of stars. There's Lewandowski that's coming from somewhere, he's scoring 50, 40 goals. And
you expect them to just
you're actually
open
surprised
up for
that they are defending low. Says what's this definition of this anti-football?
Anti-football. Football does not have only one style of playing it. Kudos to Jose Mourinho that has made us to understand that the most important thing is getting results in football game. No, of course, I knew that. and just to win football, just to win the game, or even if you can't win the game, get a draw. And Rayo Vallecano would have won that game if they were probably a bit calm in front of goal. And just like you said, he's coming from a league where all of them will just open up.
You said this doesn't happen in the world.
All of them will just open up and allow Bayern to
most
score.
Most of these players don't really know. Like, we're talking about knowing history of a club, knowing the result of a club before you sign and all those things. last season, this same Barcelona couldn't beat Rayo. I think home and away or something. So it's not as if you are playing a team that you can that will be a stroll in the park. It was always going to be difficult. And like he said, in the Bundesliga, they play high-line football. You know, a striker can run in from behind. You can always. They don't choke up the mid. They don't choke up the defense. And
see,
all.
even the concept for me is like even the concept of the whole German setup is not even with football alone. The whole German setup, and that's what it works for them. I'm not criticizing it. It works for them. That's how they chose to operate. The whole setup is set up towards a common goal.
Attack.
So even in every other setup, so the Germans are going to be like, this is how we operate, because this is the outcome we want.
Yes.
And wherever you are, you come in, you are most definitely going to serve in the space of that machine that they created to get this outcome. And it's everywhere. If you want to go and study there now, they will tell you, look, this is the course you want to do. There's this project that the government has done because they want to be able to have more professionals in this field, and the government can even pay part of your tuition. They're investing in you so that when you come out, you can be a part of. So it's always like that. So the way they play football, in the country, whether you're a small team or you're a big team, you know. And you remember with Leipzig, they had an issue with Leipzig at first. You know, when Leipzig came in, he said, this small team, we just get Red Bull money and they're doing like this. They want to play football. You get that kind of thing. So that one is not even surprising.
What if he now plays in the Premier League?
Yeah, exactly. That's
what if he now plays in the Premier League? I mean, you're playing against Rayo Vallecano, who are not even the top tacklers, you know, when it comes to the Spanish La Liga.
And again, when people talk about anti-football, most of the time, almost all the time, it's just they're shielding their own selfish interests.
Yeah.
So it's anti-football. No, it's because you know score.
You know score.
He's going to
That's
enjoy
why you're
it.
complaining.
If he's playing against other teams, who will come out?
What if he now
score his
plays
5
against the
goals?
Sam Allardyce team or a Tony Pulis team?
There's that. I was wondering if anybody enjoyed the Chelsea game as I did. And in the aftermath of that game, you realize people will speak about what they want to see in football, what they don't want to see, and the Tuchel, Conte, little touchline entertainment. I think that a lot of people have let themselves buy this idea that football is not a man's game, right? And what worries me is you build up a game for a whole week, 2 weeks entirety. You build up a game, lots of excitement, lots of rivalry, all that stuff. And two managers read the script, right? Knowingly or unknowingly, subconsciously or consciously, play out a very nice showpiece. In the end, someone asked a question yesterday, I'm not quite sure where. So, if they left Tuchel and Conte, what happens? I said, nothing happens.
Nothing will happen.
In the end,
nothing will happen. They're not going to blow themselves.
That is the entertainment value of football that I personally like to see. Of course, you are thinking about where to draw the line.
Moral is standard.
You have to find ways to draw the line. But I don't think anything there was more than what it was. I think the referee, the red card, my opinion is, of course, referees maybe like robots, but I think it's unnecessary in the end. Because a game finishes, two managers, want to shake on it. One person, thinks, oh, you know what, look at me when I'm talking to you, which has been a nice recurring theme this last week. But I don't see that anything there is out of place or should be made more of what it is. So off the back of that, if two managers are going to miss the next game, on the touchline for that, I think that is a bit, in my opinion, over the top.
I don't know if you're done, but my issue with that is I don't have any problem with managers. But you see, the managers are not going to be in the game, the next game. But the referee, who I think had a terrible game, is going to officiate another game in the weekend. So, and I think we've talked about this before. If players and managers are going to get consequences for their actions like this, there has to be some level. Even if it's okay, you know what? We're going to review, the performance. I don't know how you're going to do it. If it's a panel, I don't know. I don't know if you need to whatever you need to do. But the referee, I think, had a terrible game because
I think the first goal stands.
Not in its entirety in terms of the game, but you made errors that actually affected the results of the game. Which at the end of the day needs to come back to, okay, why did you make this decision here? Why did you make this decision here? Why did you make this decision here?
Is it the second Spurs goal?
As a matter, both goals are very debatable.
No,
right?
the first
But
one.
the first goal stands.
The first one.
Second
the
goal.
reason
there was a clean tackle in it.
the reason both goals are very debatable. First thing, the foul. He got the ball, but he got the man first. That's a foul. If you get the ball before getting the man, fine. You got the ball, but the man first. That's a foul. But let's move past that.
There were some 40+ seconds between.
But let's move past that, right? Now, Richarlison was clearly offside. And from the same way they've translated their offside rule, you know, if you are in the line the line of sight of the goalkeeper, you make a move towards or something that infringes or whatever the goalkeeper is doing, that's offside.
No, but they've
from an offside
one.
position.
I thought they said they've softened the whole offside rule.
I don't think
That's what
about
say,
that.
after that Everton, that man you Everton
They would
I thought
have checked.
they said
that was like 2-3 seasons.
they didn't. No, they didn't even check. They didn't even check that.
Now, having said that,
they didn't try to check it.
It needs to be established. Richarlison was clearly offside. The ball came in and then he moved. Obviously, let's leave that. Go to this. That's why I said
it wasn't involved in the play.
No, he was offside.
They said if you are blocking
if you are in the line of sight of the goalkeeper, that's the translation.
But he didn't interfere with play.
No, you don't have to interfere.
He doesn't have to interfere with play. He doesn't have to interfere with play.
You remember that Everton Man United game?
Do you understand?
Some years back.
You can interfere with play. If you interfere with play, offside. If you are in line of sight of the goalkeeper. Because actually being in line of sight of the goalkeeper is like interfering with play because the goalkeeper can't see the ball.
The goal was chalked up. Right?
So
the Everton guy was
yes,
line of sight of
understand? So that's why I said both goals are debatable. But you said let's agree that first goal stands. The second one under no circumstance, because they've made this thing to be violent conduct. I mean, Darwin Núñez got a red card by barely swinging his head, and you had a defender pulling someone's hair right in front of the referee. Right in front of the rest. So it's like
The second goal is the one.
It was from a corner kick, right?
Yeah, so the first corner came in, it didn't happen, the referee ignored it, went to another corner, the goal happened.
So what if the referee didn't ignore it? There will still be corner kick, right?
No, it would have been a foul.
The second goal, I can agree that there's a foul there because there's clearly a tug on Cucurella's hair. However, the VAR is the one I have the most problem with because the VAR has to call the referee.
Exactly. Once I heard
the VAR has to tell the referee that is a clear and obvious error. You need to come take a look on the screen.
Mm-hmm. You know why?
And there must be an insistence.
I agree.
That he does that.
For that, the VAR is the biggest culprit. But you know why Anthony Taylor also will take that? Is this the first foul for the first goal? It was what Tuchel talked about, and I agreed with. The first foul for the first goal. Reece James had gotten a yellow card for the same foul before that one. I think in the first half or something. Technical foul like that. He almost threw on goal. Brought the man down, got a yellow card. So that's where, as a referee, so the second thing would be, it was directly in front of you where the hair pull happened. He saw it. You can see the clip again. He saw it, but decided there was nothing there.
There are 101 things.
Maybe that's why
happening in the box.
But it was a real time now. You can't
check the clip now.
What I'm saying.
And maybe that was why VAR did not call him to go and check.
No. What I'm saying is
because they always say is when it's
what I'm saying is being real time is that you might think they are just trying to fight for the ball. It's in the box now. So
go check the clip.
Before
we
you have to realize that.
I don't think that is enough, Sha.
This is what I think. You have to realize that in real time, things move very fast.
Very fast.
Hold on. In replay, things move a bit slower. So you might see the picture and you might see the referee clear in line of sight of Cucurella. And like Abike has mentioned, it's possible that there is a tug. There's a tug. The next thing that happens is... Hold on a sec. The next thing that happens is he blows his whistle, right? And that means his eye is now on the guy swinging in the ball. No, the guy actually swinging. His eye is now a bit more global.
Okay, yeah.
Thinking about the bigger picture now. Yeah. Who swings the ball? His eyes probably left of them. The ball is in the air. Let me see what's happening here. But in replay, in slow-mo, by the time the guy kicks the ball, you can see the referee, the angles, he's seeing them. So you think, oh, he's seeing him the whole time, but
it's not.
It's probably not.
Go
So
watch the
in its entirety, I watched the game. In its entirety, I can agree that there was an oversight there, which I've always said on this show. I've said it many times. I think that the game has evolved to a point where referees must start at least giving us an insight into the calls they make. At the very least. Hold on a sec. Because I think that it's an impossible job. This is my opinion. I think it's an impossible job.
Sure.
I don't think
Refereeing
one
is not an
person
easy job.
can honestly get a decision made by 22 players correctly. When those 22 players are also trying to con him as well. More than half the time.
Sure.
So I think it's an impossible job. However, when there are some games, there's what referees are also talented referees, right? So referees are mostly picked on talent. If you read how referees are being picked, a lot of referees don't go through the academies and all that stuff. The referees don't do that. You have talent. You come for referee training. I'll probably do an episode on that as well. So in the end, it's down to talent. You see things faster than some other people do. You have a bit more emotional control. You just access some sort of presence on the pitch, that kind of thing. So in the end, if you are selected from a very, very small pool, you should have some sort of answer to give when you know why did this call happen? Come speak to us. Even if not after the game, because it's in the heat of the moment, maybe next week or next day. Speak to us. Tell us, why the calls have been made the way they have been made.
I think they've created a department for that already. A day after the game, the Premier League came up with I think a body that will now be reviewing referee's decision that happened the previous weekend, and maybe if they find one of them guilty of
reviewing things for weeks.
Probably demote to the championship or
I don't know, they've demoted one referee before.
Yeah,
I think it was Mike
they've
Dean.
demoted referees.
I think it was Mike Dean to the championship.
Mike Dean. I don't think it was.
Mike
Dean
Dean.
was.
I don't think it's Mike Dean.
Mike Dean was a guy of referees.
I don't know if anybody
He
saw.
has been demoted to the championship before. Mike Dean, yes.
I don't know if anybody
You
saw.
can check it.
Saw a story that Man United wanted to buy Casemiro.
I love it.
I honestly always hope that these stories are lies.
No, they are rumors.
I think United have shut down one.
It's possible.
Why would Madrid, if Madrid are going to even listen to selling Casemiro to him, it won't be 50 million. Remember that I say man you bid 50 million. This one.
No, I've seen 80 million, but my question is not even on Madrid. Because Madrid can say, we have to how many, so it's even
Perez will sell you.
But that one now will bring 100 million plus.
My question is, how old is Casemiro?
30.
Right? Why would Casemiro, in the peak of his career,
now say
when he's not as strong as he used to be,
I'll give him 1 million
go to United?
The problem is he's even playing in the Europa League. That's a problem on its own.
Problem.
So
big
Casemiro,
one.
And he doesn't look
Casemiro
like
Champions League 3 times back to back. Win another one. I'm not gonna play for Europe. Oh my God.
Guy, that Frankie boy. He say, Teag don't collapse there. My brother, I need you here.
You don't put the rag for vision.
He say, no go Champions League. Guy.
You don't block her.
Barca was practically begging that boy to go to United.
Go.
And
The boy don't want to go.
see, I don't know if we want to talk about Barcelona.
If now you go that kind of club. If now
But
you go that kind of club.
I've always wanted to talk about this thing that Barcelona are doing. I think it is very
Shameful.
It's very shameful.
Very,
I
very
think
shameful.
it's a disgrace because Barcelona actually know what they are doing to those players.
Sure.
It doesn't matter if it wasn't this president that was there. They signed a contract with the club. So what Barcelona are basically doing is they are pitting the fans against them. So now I see Frankie is getting into the stadium. The fans are insulting him. You are this, you are that. He'll probably escalate to them getting threats and all that. You don't want to do that as a football club to players that you signed. It doesn't make any sense. They signed a contract with you. If you want them to do anything, you're not going to bully them. You're not going to bully them.
The one that got me pissed. The one that got me pissed was that Braithwaite one. I was pissed.
They signed a contract. You went for them.
My fellow Barca fans were actually attacking me on Twitter.
Of course now.
Which is why I said,
why would you boo a player who still has a contract? They said he has to leave. Leave to where? He has a contract with the club.
You went to his club when they couldn't find a replacement to get him for crying out loud.
Which is why I always tell people that the football the football, what do you call them? FIFA, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
They're
They're very docile.
They're not serious people.
They're not doing anything.
They're not serious people.
They're not.
Or let me not even say FIFA, right? Let me even say
No, but it's FIFA.
No.
La Liga bodies.
no.
La Liga
Let me even say, I have to say
Like
FIFA because
PFA.
in the end, FIFA.
like
Because
PFA.
why I don't want to say FIFA is because a lot of players
Are under
these days,
FIFA.
a lot of players. Hold on a sec now. You and Nia, you guys back off singers, right? Like, hold on. Let me make my points. A lot of players always say we're not aware of what FIFA is doing, right? So sometimes, we saw Gary Bills, Zlatan say, "Look, FIFA, what you got our rights from who? We don't know these people, right? We don't speak to them." But because they are the organized union for players that is the most recognizable, when you see things like that happen, and in a month of transfer windows or 2 months, you haven't said one thing about it. Or let's even sidestep FIFA Pro and speak about other players who are at the club but haven't said anything about it. Or other players who are potentially joining the club haven't said anything about it. I understand players ultimately have to make the best choices and position themselves for the best for their career. But there has to come a point where you say this has to stop now. This stops now. For example, the Bosman rule. Bosman literally put his entire life on the line, his livelihood on the line, to now open up what is now, which is open season for football players holding the ultimate power in contract negotiations, right? Because before, even if your contract finished and expired at the club and ran out, you still were tied to that club to release you. But Bosman said, you know what? In the final year of the contract, I speak to anybody, and that became a real rule. So if the players at Barcelona at the moment are seeing that happen and haven't said anything about it, how Frankie has been treated, how Martin Braithwaite has been treated, and remember Ozil at the time spoke about something similar. He said, "Look, this football, these owners sign a contract, make a lot of money. If a pandemic hits and you ask me to take a pay cut, I'm not going to take a pay cut because you are the richer person. You should take the hit for that." So this idea that, and Arsenal did the same thing, they're pitting Ozil against the fans, right? So this is a model that we've seen before across other clubs. This is just an extreme scenario playing out. So there's a bit of education that needs to go to the fans because, of course, players make a lot of money. Of course.
But where does the PFA come in?
I think
it's only for award.
PFA has nothing to do with the La Liga.
No, I mean, you talked about the Premier League now. No. La Liga should have something like PFA as well. So where do they come in? Is it only just give awards to players at the end of because it's players' football association, I think. What's their job?
I mean, I think with the Premier League, for example, I think it's a valid question. These are, but more often than not, a lot of these organizations, and I'm not saying as a matter of fact, a lot of these organizations are very, tied to these football organizations as well. Even if it's unofficial. So they are very tied to some of these organizations because naturally, if you're a player union, a player association, this is the part where you step in. Because when players sign contracts and they behave somehow, maybe at some point we said Neymar is always injured. He says injured. He goes for social wedding. This is during when the game is supposed to be played. So you sign a contract. When Pogba's situation was going on, everybody came after Pogba. You have to do this, you have to that. So why can't the same thing happen to the clubs? Because now they are clearly weaponizing the fans, and education to the fans is never going to happen because fans would always have emotional attachment to the clubs that they support, and some of them would do extreme things in the name of I support this club. So I think what needs to happen, these player unions and player bodies and the players themselves, it needs to get to a point where the clubs know that if you treat me that way, and I think maybe it can also graduate into having a safe contract. Because now with what Barcelona are doing, if I'm going to sign a contract and I'm a big player for any big team going forward, it has to be stated in the contract how I will protect myself if something of this sort happens, in any of the clubs. Because this is quite embarrassing. It doesn't make any sense.
Trying to force the player out against his own will.
So, if I wanted to speak on Barcelona, we ended up dragging all of us into it.
Thank you guys for listening to the Hindsight podcast, where the conversations you're having in your homes about football are had here live on the show with the guys in the studio. Don't forget to sign up on social media. Follow us on YouTube. So, of course, you get to hear more of these conversations.
Cloud. Reach out.